Mississippi Auditor Shad White continues his war of words and his war on DEI at state universities with Mississippi State University spokesperson Sid Salter. Sid called Shad a lie about the video we did last week, or the video WLBT did. I did a video about concerning what DEI initiatives are or aren't doing at Mississippi State University. Sid called Shad a liar. Shad brought the receipts, and his assuming that he ain't making up these receipts proves that Sid and Mississippi State have in fact been lying about what they're doing with taxpayer funds concerning DEI and their quote anti-racism racism. All right, I added the last part. It's anti-racism is racism. It's a war on whiteness. And frankly, it's very disgusting. So again, Shad says this isn't some slip of the tongue as he calls out MSU spokesperson for refuting DEI comments. I think what we need to do first is let's go back and watch the video from a couple of days ago where Sid Salter lies and denies what Shad White says while calling Shad a liar. And then we'll circle back to the update, Shad's tweet, and some comments under that from Black Mississippians that I find frankly disgusting that they can't get out of 1960. Let's start over here. Let me move the screen to last week's video and we'll get this rocking and rolling. Hope everybody's having a good day. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching this. If you like the shirt I'm wearing, the FAFO shirt, you can buy yours today at buyfafo.com and support what we're doing here on this channel. Here we go from WLBT.
It stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Universities around the country have DEI divisions.
But some of our state officials are raising a red flag to say they're not doing what you'd expect, and the political backlash isn't stopping. Just more than a year ago, Auditor Shad White called attention to concerns about DEI divisions at the state's universities. He says they're sharing controversial ideology with students that's being funded by you, the taxpayer.
They don't want to teach their kids at home that they should treat everybody the same way, regardless of their race, only to send them off to a university and have them sit through a taxpayer-funded session on the evils of whiteness, which is a real thing that happened at a Mississippi university.
Senator Angela Hill unsuccessfully attempted to get a bill passed defunding the divisions.
In 2023, 70% of the DEI money was spent on salaries for employees, not scholarships for students. And if you look at the numbers that IHL has put out, minority enrollment has dropped by several hundred in the last few years, while the spending on the DEI programs has increased by 47%.
Now, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and Ole Miss have all rebranded.
My big concern is that they're changing their name, but they're not going to change anything that they're doing.
Mississippi State takes issue with the auditor's assessment.
What Shad White describes on the political stump is not what we're doing at Mississippi State University. I don't think it's what we're doing at the other
Now, this is where he gets caught in a lie.
Universities in Mississippi. But, you know, he's entitled to his opinion. He's not entitled to his facts.
Touche, Sid. Touche.
MSU says they're helping connect students to resources and improve access to groups like veterans, first-generation students, and those coming out of the foster system. Ole Miss echoed similar sentiment, saying its new division is designed in part to address the steady decline in the number of Mississippi high school graduates enrolling in higher education.
You know, I think higher education, for the most part, is a joke outside of specific degrees, architecture, medical, nursing, well, medical nursing, you get the same thing. Lawyers, you know what I mean? Like really specific degrees. If you're just going for generic liberal arts degrees, frankly, some business degrees, you're wasting your money at this point. Underwater basket weaving, DEI, CRT degrees, a lot of that stuff is a big waste of money. I would much prefer to see students go invest in learning a trade, go to a trade school, become a mechanic, HVAC, plumbing, so on and so forth. Anyway, let's go back to, this is Shad's tweet here calling out Sid for calling him a liar. I know this is kind of convoluted, but it's important to tell this story in order. People need to know this. You may not be as in the weeds on social media as I am, so you might not be keeping up with it. But a lot of disgusting anti-white racism is going on, but they're calling it anti-racism. But it just means anti-white. And they have some, anyway, let's just continue. Shad posted this, when did he post this tweet? This was yesterday at 5:56 a.m. Says last week, Mississippi State spokesman Sid Salter went on statewide news and implied that I was lying about diversity, equity, and inclusion programs on campuses. These crazy DEI programs push ideas like whiteness is evil, and they waste money on big salaries and grants for nonsense like equity-based preschool yoga. What in the hell is equity-based preschool yoga? Anyway, Lindsey Beckham and I discussed that on the show last week. Complete shenanigans. Salters said that, quote, it is not what we're doing at Mississippi State University, and, quote, I don't think it's what we're doing at other state universities in Mississippi. White says this isn't some slip of the tongue for him. It's the second time this month he said something like this to statewide media. So let's talk about why Sid is lying. With evidence taken straight from Mississippi State's website. Here we go again. The university issued a let me back up. It said, let's take evidence straight from Mississippi State's website. The truth is, Mississippi State, like many universities, is shot through with crazy racial ideology. Here are the examples. The university issued a press release praising itself for whiteness, research, and its deep exploration of white privilege. Sid knows this because he was the chief communications officer for the university at the time. Also, the university promoted a whiteness seminar during this period. Then he tags Sid and says, what is whiteness? We all know it would be obviously racist to praise someone if they did research claiming blackness was bad. So why is whiteness research any different? Mississippi taxpayers who are footing the bill for this stuff want to know. I know I damn sure do. Continuing, entire departments at Mississippi State have released written statements professing loyalty to anti-racist ideology. And if you haven't heard of anti-racism, the main idea behind it is the notion that the only remedy to past discrimination is, guess what? Guess what? Anybody in the back want to guess what it is? Current discrimination, AKA racism. And that, my friends, is nuts. He tags Sid again. Yeah, I love a man that tags another man when he's pissed off at him. I do that. I can respect that when other folks do it. He says, Sid, why do whole university departments promote this brand of discrimination? How does this move Mississippi's economy forward? Taxpayers want our universities to relentlessly focus on training the next generation of engineers, architects, and scientists. Sounds like a Jackson Thug's dream degree. Future rocket scientists and engineers. They can go to Mississippi State. Maybe even one of them can become an astronaut or two. Anyway, I digress. To be the engine that will power Mississippi's economy, wasting money on this garbage I describe above distracts from that. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg at Mississippi State. There are hundreds of pages of research into topics like systemic racism, colorblind racism, whatever that means, white privilege, etc. This whiteness trash is weird, like Tim Walz, and divides us as a state rather than brings us together. Universities need to only spend our taxpayer money on the things that make common sense. More examples to come tomorrow, and we will see if he's posted those. But let's go down into the comments real quick, because this is where I got into some conversations with folks. Don Juan, the Wonder Boy, the guy I go back and forth with, we actually have some fair conversations on Twitter, so I don't want to bash the guy. He's a smart dude, but he says this whiteness trash is weird and divides us as a state rather than brings us together. Then he shares a photo from the Mississippi GOP, and it says, really? And look, I just had a quick reply to this. I had a quick reply. I said, hey, maybe some blacks should join the Mississippi GOP and be the change you want to see. And I mean that. I mean that Jacksonians constantly tell me maybe I should be the change in Jackson that I want to see. I'm done with Jackson. I don't want to get shot in Jackson. I'll become the change y'all want to see real quick if I go to a Jackson gas station when y'all shoot me. But look, I know this as a white Republican. We would love to welcome more Black Republicans into the GOP, arms wide open. I had a rep with the state reach out to me today after I talked about this on the radio, said, if you know any Black Republicans or that want to consider becoming a Republican and join the GOP, get them in touch with me today. So that's an open invitation to any of our Black brothers and sisters that want to entertain the thought of joining the GOP and potentially running for statewide office. We would love to have you. There's a lot of white Republicans out there, and I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. We've been overcompensating for our history of racism in Mississippi for a long time. You're leaving a great opportunity on the table not to take advantage of an open invitation to come join the GOP and to get these people behind you. They will push you to the moon and back. Because, hey, look, we all know how politics works. You get a Black man that's a Republican, you get all the whites who are tired of being called a racist on your side immediately. No questions asked. I mean, look, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for Byron Donaldson. For several others. Vivek Ramaswamy, I know he's not quote unquote Black, but he's brown. You know, I was ready to do that for other folks in the past. If you're Black and you got an R by your name, and I think you got that dog in you. So I don't think Tim Scott's got that dog in him. Byron Donaldson, he's got that dog in him. We'll definitely get behind you. So I think this is a bunch of BS right here. I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow morning's radio show. So I was scrolling on down just a little bit more. And I ran across this lady's comment here. She says, sir, do you know some of the Caucasian people in this state are racist? Why not learn the truth? How certain people lied on a Black teenager and would murder over a lie she told? How about certain people killed Medgar in his yard? You know, and I just replied to this. Obviously, we know what two murders she's talking about. I can't remember the young man's name off the top of my head. I know I'm supposed to. They got killed over the white woman saying that she flirted with him. My apologies for forgetting it. I'm having a brain fart and don't feel like Googling in the middle of a live video. But I just said this. I said, so do you have any examples of this you can use from the last 50 years? Or do you have to continue to use the same two names over and over and over? It's like y'all are almost disappointed that Mississippi is no longer racist towards Blacks anyway, which clearly there is still a lot of racism towards white folks and other brown folks that aren't necessarily native to Mississippi that operate businesses in Black communities. People from India, people from the Middle East, they catch a lot of flack. People from Asian countries, you know, I said it before, I say it again. They had to stop that whole Stop Asian Hate campaign because it wasn't the folks that was doing the hating that they thought it was. It was the end racism folks that was committing the Stop Asian Hate crimes. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't folks that looked like this. It didn't fit the narrative. Like, oh, crap. Oh, damn it. Anyway, so let's go back and see what Shad's got to say from the last day or so. See if he did, in fact, update his stuff. All right, so yeah, he did update it today. Says, not long ago, Sid Salter, Mississippi State taxpayer-funded spokesman, went on statewide media twice and claimed I was lying about DEI and inclusion programs at Mississippi. He says, I don't think it's what we're doing at state. This is the same thing. Okay, this appears to be updated. Yeah, this is from today. I just want to make sure I didn't read all that again. It started to look the same. So it says, I don't think what we're doing at state or other universities in Mississippi, Salter said, but you know, he's entitled to his opinion. He's not entitled to his facts. So Shad says, let's talk about the facts. How about we? Based on what you can find on Mississippi State's own website about how the university is deeply entrenched in radical DEI ideology, we'll take one of their professors as another example. It says, see my post yesterday for more. Her name is Margaret Hagerman, and her career is dedicated to white privilege. The university showers praise on her in university press releases for her crazy book called White Kids. She wrote another book dedicated to avoiding the development of far-right thinking in white children. And the university loves it, promoting these books through their public relations team. I would love to know what they consider far right. What is far right? Is that's basically anything left to center? Because I know anytime a lefty gets off the reservation just ever so much and just disagrees with one thing, they could be on board for abortion, they could be on board for the trans agenda, LGBTQ, flip flop, drop top, everything, reparations. But man, if they just get off board on one thing, like, not defunding cops. Oh, what do you mean? You're a racist, homophobe, transphobe, bigot. You got to get on out of here. You're MAGA now. So I'm curious what they consider far right thinking in this book. Anyhow, continuing, he tags Sid and says, Sid, what about the research? What about this research deserves praise? Why this obsession with white children? This stuff is just weird, like Tim Walz, and Mississippi taxpayers are footing the bill for it. There are plenty more from a university-sponsored Safe Zone committee obsessed with creating safe spaces for every possible gender they can think of, queer and trans people of color, and so on. The whole university department's grabbing onto the Black Lives Matter movement and professing loyalty to its principles. The list of weird projects at Mississippi State is endless. By the way, those Black Lives Matter principles were the demolition of the nuclear family. He says that and it all defies common sense. He also asks Sid, why are so many university resources dedicated to these safe spaces? Are there parts of your campus that are dangerous or something? Why do whole departments make a liberal political statement? And that's just at Mississippi State. He says, I've posted previously about other universities, but Sid Salter says none of this is happening, neither at State nor at other universities in Mississippi. Shad continues to say, it brings me no pleasure in pointing this stuff out. I look at our universities and I see the ways they waste taxpayer resources on this liberal garbage, and it's frustrating. I hope they'll get back to educating the doctors, accountants, and engineers our economy needs and turn into economic engines to power Mississippi's future. And again, he says more examples to come tomorrow, which that will be tomorrow. This came out from WLBT today. I haven't really looked over it yet. It may just be a synopsis of what we just went over. If it is, I will we'll nip it in the bud pretty quick. I know I'm at 17 minutes on this video. You guys got stuff to do. Let's see over here. Yeah, it appears that this is just a bit of a synopsis of what we just read. So what do you guys think? There's no reason why we should be promoting racism, anti-white racism, or any other, obviously. But it's okay to be anti-white. It's okay to be racist to white people according to the DEI agenda, which is all just a bigger part of the umbrella of the LGBTQ agenda, or just what I refer to as the rainbow supremacy. The rainbow supremacy cannot stand people like me, full of testosterone, don't give a damn, can't tell me nothing. I can see with my own eyes. Don't tell me not to believe my lying eyes. You can't gaslight me. I'm going to tell the truth. Consequences be damned. At the risk of cancellation, having my income yanked out from under me, everything. If I got to lose it all the equipment, the radio show, the followers, everything, and I got to go stand on a milk crate in downtown Jackson with nothing but my hands screaming like this to get my message across. If I got to go to JSU football games, Mississippi State football games, hotty toddies, and Southern Miss to the tops, and any other HBCU in the state of Mississippi to get my message across, I'll do just that. We're tired of being called racist. It's why we quit watching sports for the most part. Well, I speak for myself anyway. After George Floyd suicided himself and the Mississippi State University football team decided to march through campus with their fists up like this, that was the last state game I watched. That was the last state game I watched. When they started painting racism on the field, I was like, oh, that's funny. The most racist people on the field are telling the rest of us not to be racist. Funny. not so funny. So I'm trying to watch football again this year, college football, and they got one shot. They got one shot. It's an election year. I know they're going to have a hard time keeping their mouths shut. I know they're going to have a hard time, but they got one shot. Keep it about sports on the field. I don't care what you do on your social media. I don't care what you do in your personal life. But when you're at work, when you're representing 50% of the state, keep it about sports. I don't care how much of a Marxist, how much of a communist, how much of a racist, how much of anything else you are in your private life. Keep it about work on the field when you're representing Mississippi State or Ole Miss or Ole Miss or any other school. I just mentioned state because that's the school I've pulled for the last 25, 30 years. What do you guys think? Is it time for DEI to DIE? Has it outlived its usefulness? I believe it has. It's all about the matriarchy. Survival of the sickest. The best person should get the damn jobs. Why are we exploring ways to make people racist? Why are we telling young black kids that any of their failures in life are simply just because they're black and because mean white people held them down? And then why are we telling young white kids that they're privileged and anything they accomplish in life is only because they're white? That's a damn lie. There's too many of us in Mississippi. This is the wrong state to tell that lie in. Too much poverty in this state, black, white, and other, to try to tell some white kids that somehow they're privileged because they worked harder. Sickening. This is how you create a nation of sissies, of low testosterone, cuck, sissy males that can't deal with adversity. You know, we did a big video the other day about this crazy nut job kid up in the Renaissance Shopping Center in Ridgeland dressing like a cat and acting all silly, calling itself a furry. We're raising a nation of kids that are doing that are going to end up growing into adults and becoming leaders one day. And people are like, oh, Clay, wow, why are you talking about the furry? You should be talking about the Venezuelans taking over this, that, and the other. You know, some of y'all might not know, but you can multitask. I wrote something here. I'm pulling something up real quick here. Here it is. I just want to read this verbatim. This is a post I put on Twitter. Better yet, we will pull it up on the Twitter, and I want y'all to see it. And this is how I feel about the current battles we're going through right now. It says, I've had multiple people suggest that I shouldn't focus on the furries issue when Venezuelan gang members are taking over areas and cities across America. Firstly, I'm capable of multitasking and can be concerned about and discuss multiple issues simultaneously. Secondly, while the furry phenomenon might seem trivial on the surface, it's important to consider that the border crisis, which has led to issues like the Venezuelan gang problem, might in fact be partially rooted in the same cultural shifts. These shifts have influenced a generation that now includes politicians who advocate for open borders, reduced discipline in schools, and lenient crime policies. And you might as well go on and throw in DEI and CRT initiatives as well. So therefore, yes, I believe it's valid to be concerned about both issues concurrently, and others should be too. That's why we need to be worrying about these CRT and DEI issues at these state schools. They're training a nation of future Marxist and anti-white, or they call it anti-racist, communists to put out into the earth, to put out into the business world, that'll be running HR departments and deciding if you or your children or grandchildren are woke enough or anti-white enough to get the job. And to that I say, hell no. And I will fight to my death to call that out every opportunity I get. Again, I've had my differences with some of the things Shad White has done, but I'm here right now to call a truce with Shad White. And for this, I stand not behind him 100%. I stand in front of him 100%. And I will take any bullet and arrow intended for him, as long as this is the fight we're fighting. I don't give a damn about Brett Favre and the welfare scandal. Don't give a shit about that. That didn't affect me not one way or another. Thank you guys for watching this. Hit like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Clip it up, do whatever you want to with it, but please watch it first. Order a shirt, buyfafo.com. Check out my radio show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And as always, I know you see it down there on the bottom. I talked about testosterone once or twice in here. Be sure to get your free testosterone screening. Guys, are you suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances? Basically, do you look like a tenured professor at State or Ole Miss that's been out there just a little bit too long? You feeling a little less manly? Let's get you a free testosterone screening out there in Madison at Men's Health in Mississippi. You're probably suffering from low T. All you got to do is text my name, Clay, in all caps to 601-327-8550. They're going to get you hooked up and get you back to a high-functioning testosterone level. And my friends, your wife will thank me, your significant other will thank me, and you as well will thank me about 6 to 8 weeks after you get started up on that testosterone replacement therapy. It is a godsend to feel 25 again, because it ain't like a switch just gets cut off. It happens gradually over a little time, and you don't realize how bad you feel. So it takes about 8 to 10 weeks for it to kind of get ramped back up as well. And man, by the end of that first 8 to 10 week cycle, you're going to be feeling better than you've ever felt. I can't guarantee you your money back, but I feel confident enough that you'll be wanting to give me a Christmas bonus. You'll be wanting to send me a Christmas card if you start on it right now. By Christmas, man, you better make sure your significant other's working out and taking care of themselves too, because you're going to have a whole nother level of ladies paying attention to you. And your old lady's going to have to raise her game up a little bit. All right, I'm having fun. I got to get out of here and go to bed. It's 10:30. 5:30 comes early. Check out the radio show, 103.9 FM, WYAB. Stay blessed, stay safe, and do not become a anti-white or black racist.